What's going on, boys? Today I'm going to be doing a weekly recap of everything I've seen, some trades that I've taken, and some trades that I wish I took, but I didn't because I am not perfect. But they were honestly really A plus, and yeah. So let's just get into it. So higher time frame at the moment. All I see, we swept those out right here. We bottomed out over here, and we are starting to break some structure to the upside. So coming into Sunday open, let's go to Sunday. Let's zoom it in here. So coming into Sunday open, I do like to trade Sunday open occasionally. This Sunday open was just really choppy, so I would just stay away from most of this. For the most part, and just wait for New York. You could have maybe tried taking some type of like liquidity sweep, uh, break of structure type of long here. Just because we were just making higher highs. We had these accumulation highs up here, and we were just disrespecting. Like, we gapped up past this 5-minute OB, breaking this completely and not holding it. So we were just disrespecting all bearish PD rays, and just going up higher highs. So I mean, you technically could have taken like some type of long off this order block, some like lows right here, something like this, and like that, and like targeted the accumulation highs or whatever. But I wouldn't have done any of this because I don't like to trade chop. So I like to wait for the accumulation cycles to be over and to target all of the lows that are made from the chop up. So coming into New York, where's New York? So 9:30. So this is Monday of this new session. So what do we see here? So we always got to look back, right? So we did top out and we did sweep all this accumulation highs. We also, if you look on the 4-hour, you should always be looking at 4-hour highs that we have swept. So coming into this, where are we? Holy shit. Okay, boom. We swept another 4-hour high right here, right? And so let's go back to the 5-minute. So we swept another 4-hour high there. That was like one of the final ones off that leg. And what do? And then we obviously internally afterwards swept more highs. And then we broke all this structure down here finally. So we heavily displaced and started a bearish movement downwards. So right after we swept that, came up here, broke structure, came up. So this was all still chop, and then we finally came up and made a major swing high that broke all this structure and actually went down all the way and swept all of this, right? Swept all of this. So all the LRL that we had overnight. And this was all right before New York. So coming into Monday, we started off extremely choppy, and we had this huge wick up right here. Personally, I would want us to come and tap back into this area right here. Whenever I see huge wicks like this that are inside of PD arrays, like 5-minute gaps and stuff, they are liquidity, they are ICT traders stops, and just a bunch of other retail trader stops that we want to sweep for the actual move down. I am bearish though, because we are just breaking more structure now. We're holding this high. This high looks protected. So I probably want to go on the 15-minute, but we have this huge 5-minute OB right here. Obviously, boom, tapped. You probably want to scale down though to actually find a trade within this. But once we sweep this liquidity and we swept this and we tapped into that higher 5 minute, I would scale down to maybe the 3 minute or something. Come down here and see. I really liked that reaction off that 5 minute after we swept. Instant bearish structure down. We broke this wick right here, right? We broke this structural wick right here that should have been bullish. We broke it, so that gave me the signal to set a limit order over here, and we did end up chopping a bit afterwards, but this was good enough for me. And yeah, so this high should not have gotten disrespected because we already sweeped all this and we tapped into our higher time frame. PD array came down, broke another structural wick. We actually broke two. Oh no, we didn't. We just broke one. It came up right into our 1 minute or 3 minute that got formed. And yeah, and then from here, this is the short that you should have taken. You should have stayed away from all of this chop in New York coming 9:30 open, 10 a.m. blah blah blah. It came up 11. This is the only trade you should be taking. Always try to avoid the chop, and whenever we have extremely high wicks like this, I know you can probably see that it is a sort of rejection block, and it could play for however much. You could like do things like this, this type of strat where you get a rejection block and then it's coming out of a 5 minute gap, and you have this CISD right here, and so you can limit this rejection block and take it down. But all of this is just built up liquidity for the actual move. So coming into 11 o'clock, we finally swept, tapped into our structure that is protected now after we broke all this and swept this. And now we can finally move down. Targets to be taken, obviously the most recent low, and then after that I guess you can try to target this low too, from Friday, and so on and so on. If I put on my ICT kill zone things real quick just to see, let me turn off the boxes so I could just see. So kill zone wise, we swept Asia, we swept London, boom, 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 and we took out London highs here. Okay, so yeah, you could target just a New York PM low, and New York AM low, and then previous day PM low could also be a target. So you could target that right there, which eventually gets hit. And yeah, and that was a clean short from the Monday session. Boom, boom, boom. And then coming into Asia of the next day, or no, same day, just Asia. I'm a little slow. What do we do? Again, we are now in a huge downtrend. We still have this low and this low untaken. So coming into Asia, I'm actually going to move this here. I actually took this short literally just down to this low, and just called it. But yeah, so anyways, coming into Asia, just looking pre-market, we are still respecting bearish arrays. Boom, boom, boom. We swept more liquidity right here, right, and broke more bearish structure. Oops, down here. So still bearish, coming into Asia. So let's see, where's Asia open? Or this just regular day open. So once we open up here, chopping up, building up LRL, which is beautiful. Whenever you see us building up chop, do not trade this, but you want to target this. So how are you going to target all these lows that are getting built up? Well, you can't you can't take a trade off accumulation until it sweeps something. And once it sweeps something, that is the manipulation to start moving downwards. So we didn't want to take this high. We swept this liquidity and we broke structure. This high technically should be protected now. So I have this marked right here. And I also have this high now marked as liquidity that should be taken because since we're chopping up, we need to take a high to start moving downwards. And so you could, I don't know, did this tag? I think this did tag, but yeah, so this is how you could have caught the Asia shorts coming in to open, which I think where did Asia open? I think Asia opened like somewhere around here. So yeah, boom, 12-point stop, not bad at all, not a bad shout, and you could have targeted the actual final lows, or if you were, like Himothy and just were like, we're gonna rebalance this whole shebang, whatever. Obviously you could have just kept going and targeted whatever because we dumped to the pits. So yeah, but all that could have been started off with, just watching this LRL that's getting built up and just watching all this market structure that's forming. So yeah, another nice clean short in Asia, and this was basically wrapping up Monday. 2 trades, New York AM short and New York and Asia short, and you could have probably overnighted it if you wanted. Don't really know how deviations would have worked here. I mean, yeah, you could have just taken it to like minus 4.5 here off that deviation, that manipulation up. You could have also tried the accumulation deviation, so like that, and you could have tried to take to like minus 4. You could have done everything because it just kept going down. Me personally, I would honestly take most of my trades. If minus 2 is around like 200 points, shit, I'm taking that. Even 150 points, wherever minus 2 is, usually I just take it to that and call it a day. That or obviously just that recent low makes total sense too. So there's that. That's Monday. What are we at? 12 minutes. Okay. Let's keep moving. So coming into Tuesday. Let's see, Tuesday. So we're dropping. I want to go to New York Tuesday. Okay, coming into New York on Tuesday. So still bearish, clearly. We are respecting, more bearish structure. I don't know why I said like that, but we're respecting more bearish highs, right? We're sweeping and we're breaking more structure to the downside, sweeping, breaking more structure to the downside. So we just keep continuing doing that. I'll actually visually show you that. So boom, we sweep more highs, right? But we don't take this out, and instead we come and take this out, right? Okay, so making this high now protected, and now coming into New York 9:30, we open up down, open up huge wick down, and we start ramping up. And obviously this high is protected. Why? Because we swept more liquidity and broke more structure down. So you would want to mark this order block right here and just make sure there is something here to sweep. So boom, we have this liquidity right here, and we also, and at 9:30 it opened, created this huge wick right here that didn't tap into this, right? So this was easy liquidity here too to be taken. Also coming out of gaps. Let me see. Hold on. Where we at? Come on. Okay. Boom. So yeah, more wicks coming out of this 5-minute gap right here. So you can go on the 1 minute too. I don't like to be on the 1 minute usually, but Just go here just for easier visualization. 1 minute gap here. So a lot of people, could have pre-fired shorts off the 90%, the retail traders could have pre-fired shorts off this gap, respecting twice or whatever, and coming more downwards off open. They probably tried taking this inversion right here or whatever, and just like, this is what retail traders do. This is what ICT traders do. They take this inversion here. Honestly, I don't even know, bro. They probably would like do something like that and have like a huge stop, to be honest. But obviously, market makers are going to stop hunt retail traders. So liquidity, more liquidity, and we tap into our PD array that broke structure and swept liquidity before, and this would have been the short right here. So this is the Tuesday short, 27 points, not too shabby. Let's move this over a little bit, and boom. And then what could you have targeted? You could have targeted obviously the recent swing low, and after that, you just go a higher time frame and you continue to look at stuff. So we have this hourly low right here that we could have targeted too. So boom, let's go back on the 5 minute actually, and so yeah, boom, and that was the trade for New York session on Tuesday. Just more shorts. We're in a downtrend. We're we're continuing to break structure. We're continuing to respect highs. So it's pretty simple, why try longing anything when we're just going down. So yeah, that was that. And then let's go to Tuesday Asia. Yeah, this is gonna be a long video because I'm just kind of literally going through every day. Okay, Tuesday Asia. It's okay. Open on Tuesday. What happens here? Chop. Okay, come back into a choppy ass cycle. Okay, so chop. So obviously we need these highs all taken right here before we go up. So this was no trade for me. Asia, no trade. We're just chopping down. Nothing really to see here. More chop. We're breaking lows. Even more chop. So all this is chop, right? This is all chop. I'm not trading this, okay? So coming into, so this is all the night session now. Night session, chop. We're not really doing anything significant. So boom, and we come into New York around here, 9:30 area. So coming into New York, we ended up sweeping all of this chop highs. We have this little AMD setup right here, and so this was manipulation all up here. And what do we need to do with manipulation? We need to sweep stuff. So we did sweep. We swept, and we actually ended up holding this high again, right? Once we held this high again, we have these lows, these accumulation lows as targets, AMD type of thing. So coming into 9:30, I'm still bearish. All right, we had a huge chops fest. We swept up. We came up, swept. Coming down, I want to take all this out. I'm bearish. We have Asia lows, we have London lows. I'm bearish. Okay, so coming into this, could have marked out the 5 minute OB that formed off us sweeping, and then us respecting all these highs. Let's go to the 3 minute. Let me see if we could find it. So actually, I'll go to the 1 minute. Probably easier to see. Okay, so coming into the 1 minute. Okay, so this was around 9 a.m. So we come here, we sweep, or we swept all the highs below, and we come and tap into our PD array, and again we bounce off beautifully and break structure to the downside. So this is signaling more shorts for me, breaking more structure to the downside. This was also structure here, break. Oops. Boom. More broken structure down. This right here looks like liquidity to me. So technically on the 1 minute time frame, you could wait for these chopped highs, but I mean it did technically get swept, but these chopped highs to get swept somewhat. But I'm not really worried about that because I know that this high is protected. I like to go off the 5 minute and 3 minute order blocks. So I would just do this pretty fat stop, but it's okay. You could obviously also have done the 1 minute in hindsight and still been totally fine. The 1 minute OB right here. Let's see how big the 3 minute was. Oops. Okay. Actually, the 3 minute wasn't that bad, so you could have actually just boom, and just went for it. So, anyways, another beautiful short coming into New York. So New York opens. I'll do it on the 1 minute because most people are on the 1 minute. But I don't recommend you being on the 1 minute. You should always be on like the 3 and the 5 minute. But yeah, coming to open, 9:30 opens down. We broke more structure to the downside, right? After sweeping this high, swept, broke more structure down. Clearly, you can see that. And came back up. This high should be protected. So we came up, tapped 9:30 beautifully. And this is another short. So, you could continue seeing a pattern this week of us just shorting the market. And this one, obvious targets right here, accumulation lows, that's pretty much it. You could have also targeted London lows, 300 pointer right there. Wednesday session. Again, you could also, try and catch a long afterwards, back up to the highs, because what do we keep doing constantly? We keep breaking all the lows, coming back to the highs, coming back down, up down. So I mean, technically I wouldn't, but after we swept London and we swept Asia, we had some sort of break of structure, and coming down here, you could have done something like that. But this is all hindsight, and then just kind of probably targeted these highs up here for more buy side after we swept. Because look, we sweep, we break. Technically, I would like us to break this piece of structure here to start going up. This is kind of a little wonky to me. I don't know. This is all kind of chop, but you could definitely take longs off this too, in hindsight. So, anyways, this was the New York short on Wednesday. Now let's go to Wednesday, Asia. Okay, or market open and then Asia. So coming into market open here, we had a huge move up and then chop, right? Until we broke. And this looks like a lot more chop. Let me go back to the 5 minute now. Holy, yeah. See, this is why I tell you guys to stay on the 5 minute, because you can clearly see that we just are chopping. It's so much chop. And not really any trades for me to take over here that I see, because we're just, ranging, and I don't really trade night sessions, so boom, we come down. So honestly, this is where we skip all of Asia, and then let's go to Thursday, New York. Okay, Thursday, New York, honestly, was a bit of a chop fest and a little confusing to see. Now, I am still short, obviously. We have just been going down. Okay, so I want to see some sort of short structure being formed. And what do? We low-key did exactly that. So let me go to the 15-minute real quick. Okay, all right, I'll just stay on the 5-minute. Okay, so wait, this is already Friday. So okay, Thursday. So what do? Market opens, climb up, we solidify a high, we swept some sort of liquidity right here, some sort of highs that we're getting held up here. We come down, we broke structure, come down, broke more structure. Then we started chopping for over an hour. Let's go here. All right, so we start chopping for over an hour, but we still are respecting bearish arrays. Start chopping for over an hour, but clearly we're still bearish. I like this high. I am going to mark out the order block for this high, bang bang, and we have a bunch of lows still, that needs to get swept. And we have highs that will protect we have liquidity up here to protect our significant high that we're looking at. So once we come up here, this, again, another fake out. This is, I saw a lot of ICT traders, take these short off this 1 minute fair value gap, respecting this, not ideal. You want everything to get swept, so they will come back for you. So again, retail traders would have taken a short here and gotten cooked, targeting these lows until we finally tapped into our structure. Your stops should always, even if you took shorts here, your stop should always be at the protected high, right? So regardless, this is not a protected high right here, so you would have gotten cooked. But yeah, another simple short though, I would have taken off this right here, and actually probably on the 3-minute time frame order block. So I probably would have done that and this right here. So even if I did get tagged with this, which it didn't, actually made my trade way better because we have liquidity, retail trader liquidity right before it. I would still, continue to hold my stops. So boom, and target New York low, and eventually you could even target the next day or previous. What was this? What low was this? This was just 830 low. You could just target this low, but obviously we're chopping and just not really good PA, but it ends up delivering anyway. But yeah, in this PA, I would just target the accumulation lows. So boom, 130 points and call it a day. Again, not an ideal New York session, especially after we open. A lot of retail traders are trying to trade this. They're trying to enter here, there. They're trying to predict stuff. This is the high that you should be looking at. This is the high you should be looking at to take trades off of. You should not be taking trades off any of this garbage. Oops. You should not be taking trades out of any of that. I guess you could have tried taking longs here, but not ideal, because where are we? We're in bearish structure. So what do we want? Shorts. So another short. This was Thursday. All right, and now we come to Thursday Asia. Okay, Thursday Asia opens up and chop. Again, like most of the time, you're not gonna find valid trades in Asia. I mean, you could technically like see this. Okay, it could be like swept this liquidity, broke this high here. Broke this high here. We haven't really tapped into this high yet, so technically this is somewhat protected, even though you're going against the trend. and I guess Asia opens, or just market open 18, and I guess you could just take longs here if you're fiending for trades that bad, and hold it till whatever, I don't know, probably around here because I would be scared, but obviously this ended up being liquidity and we just kept going up to this order block that ended up getting, oh no, we just kept going, huh? So yeah, we just ended up going, oh yeah, this was the accumulation. So I mean, yeah, again, you could technically, ride accumulation all the way up during Asia, but is this ideal? No, because most Asia sessions you're just going to get chopped out anyway. So, but this is beautiful information for our beautiful Friday session coming into it. So again, stay away from all this chop. You don't want to trade accumulation, especially if you're not catching the move from the beginning, the along from the beginning, and you're just now trying to short this, long this, short this, long this, short this, short this, long this, whatever. Like, bruh, chill. Just chill, bro. Just watch the markets. We're just in another accumulation cycle. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Just in another accumulation cycle, building up for what? For a beautiful New York session. So again, I'm just gonna use this as information. I'm not even gonna mark out a trade idea for that, but boom. All these lows coming up, chop. This is accumulation. All of this came up here, swept this, swept our high. That ended up, because after it's used up, it's now liquidity. It's now not protected anymore. Boom. So sweep this high. Come up, chop, and we probably tap into a higher time frame array. What was it? 1 hour. There it is. Tapped into a 1 hour PD array, and you should always be looking at 1 hour, 15 minutes. Let's see if it tapped into a 15-minute order block too. Yeah, there it is. It also tapped into the 15-minute, so either one works. So yeah, boom. Chop, tapped into a 15-minute PD array, which, is a protected high once we break structure down off it. So what do? So we have all this LRO, right? We see all this LRO that built up in Asia. We now are looking for our entry, right? Coming into Friday open. Few things you could have done here because this is all pre-market. So New York opens down here already. So the move happens up here. So again, we swept all that liquidity. We're looking internal. We swept internal and we broke, which I will show you. And came down. We broke this, which isn't bad, right? But what do? We broke again here, which was beautiful. Okay, broke, came up here, respected this high. This high is very nice now, right? 1 minute, bang, and you could have shorted literally the top before even market open. Now, I didn't catch that because I'm not on till around 9:15 a.m. I just, suck at sleeping. So a little sauce right here. We have this CISD area right here on the higher time frame, 5 minute. You can see CISD area. We respected it, and we came down, and fully CISD to change the state. So coming into New York, we are bearish. But how do we catch the bearish move? Honestly, I did not catch this, but there is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So CISD, bang, we're bearish. This was 929, tapped into it. This is also a MSNR type of concept, but I'm not going to explain that in this video. But boom, tapped, rejected, 1 minute candle, closed, bearish like that. Technically, you could have just shorted this in hindsight, and caught it. But the real move was obviously up here, and I didn't catch this. So waradu, I caught the what's it called? The long down here. And why did I long this? Well, coming in to the drop, I had this order block marked, and we, instead of taking that low, which a lot of people wanted, we came up and broke structure. So boom boom, we broke after a huge downtrend. But low key, this is all kind of accumulation here, so it's kind of sus to try this, but you could have, you really could have, and you could have taken this OB right here, because we shouldn't, if we're bullish, we should not take another low structure to keep going. And so you could have taken that long and put it up here, but honestly, little bit risky. And then obviously you could have actually found this short technically off the sweep, the ICT trader sweep. But this was way later. This was already lunch, 2 p.m. session. But yeah, anyways, pretty fired week. Just short.